Hello, folks. Welcome to Godblind Games. Do you remember who I am? My name's Millie. I'm allegedly the GM for Coriolis, Most of the Icons, Part 2. The last site, I had to check the book. That's how long it's been since we last played. Mercy of the Icons, Part 2, The Last Cyclade, Act 2, Mission Menemone, Fire of the Icons, Part 2.
Subsection 4, paragraph 9.
Section 31. Yeah.
It is actually episode 31 today.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Spooky.
So this is the time travel hologram into somebody's brain.
Yeah, we're all badgers.
Thing. No, we've already done the into someone's brain
badgers.
mission. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. It's been a while. Welcome back to Coriolis. If you've forgotten who we are, let's take a minute to remind ourselves. My name's Millie. I'm the GM. That's me. That's my name. Yeah, that's where you find me on the internet. Starting with Pete. Pete, who are you?
Hello. I'm Pete.
Hi, Pete. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm alive. It's great.
Hooray! Alive is the optimal situation for a human to be.
It is. It's great. Work's been okay. My kids have gone back to school and nursery, so yeah, that's
Nice.
cool. And
Nice.
yeah, I'm looking forward to some space. It's been a while.
Yeah. Not saying where we're up to because we'll have a chat about that in a minute to see what we remember. But who is your character?
My character is Yusuf, who is the fugitive mystic who ran away from Algol and has been having a kind of grand awakening across the stars as he tries to fight for freedom and justice and coffee machines and other things.
Wait, Yusuf's a mystic? I thought he was just incontinent.
Yeah, I keep going for a long
Using
wee
the
in the corner.
mysticism to hide the incontinence. It's less socially,
Yeah. There's more people are
Embarrassing.
happy with the incontinence than they are with the mysticism. Cool. Yusuf, the fugitive mystic. Graham, how are you?
awesome. Really, really good.
Good. This is really odd because I've seen Graham all day because now I work from home, and it's just like yay.
Yeah,
But also now I
lovely
have
job.
less to talk to you about because I saw you all day. Good. I'm glad you are well. Who is your character?
So I am Silsila Zamil. Silsila didn't really tell anyone who he really was to start with. He just said he used to drive shuttles for the space agency. He's maybe a little bit more than that with his habit of extreme murder when other people, try and kill us. And probably quite likely having a bit of a crisis of conscience over the last few weeks of his life.
Yeah, I can see that. Awesome. Silsila, the bus driver.
Yeah.
Is he really? Question mark. Ben, how are you, friendo?
Hello, I am well.
Good. Who is your character?
I am playing Shanaz al-Bahir, former courtesan, current something else that is part courtesan, part diplomat, part assassin, part PR agent, part babysitter,
All media darling.
all media darling, and future president of the Third Horizon.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. I wonder if there are any free elections coming up that Shanaz could take part in. Free being the operative word I said there. Free election, because there's no way in all of the Horizon, all of the elections are in fact not engineered.
An awful lot of people fighting.
All right, so we are go away, pop up. We are in a jail cell in a very nice village in the jungles of in like a valley or in the jungles of a planet called Ordana. We're here because Shanaz's new best mates, the Temple of Alarm, made a pact, a covenant, one called it, with some friends that is really lovingly called the Covenant of the Merciless. Because we're here to murder some people without mercy at the appointed hour.
Was it not Covenant of Cuddles? I thought that's what it was, wasn't it?
I think that might be our cover name for
That's
it,
what
so
Shanaz
nobody
told
can
me.
guess.
Mhm.
And we're not here to murder people at all.
No, that's exactly what
Exterminate, de-exist.
The inhumation,
Oh,
extremely rendite.
World thing.
yeah, okay, yeah, sure.
Are we still in the jail? Did we not get someone to let us out, or did we turn them down?
No, we're in the jail cell, but we could get out of the jail cell. We were discussing that.
Yeah. So
Oh, hang on. No, yeah.
So we were sent to the jail cell because we didn't have, or they didn't know we were due to come to this village.
Yeah.
They are, strangely, very sort of private here, which
The
kind of
weird cultists.
The weird
fits in
cultists.
because they're allegedly weird Nazarene cultists who are, as far as we know, the bad guys. Or at least
Allegedly.
the Covenant of the Merciless don't like them. So they're the bad guys as far as...
Yeah, but Psychic Teenage Girl did kind of fess up to being a bad guy and everyone else being a bad guy as well. So even with her offer to help us get out, she
Hey.
did kind of drop a minute.
Kill all of those assholes and I'll get you out.
Yes.
Let me live.
I mean, if she did that and then finished it with finger guns, I'm in.
So yeah, a couple of things happened while we were immediately imprisoned upon arriving in this place, where they did not believe it was Shanaz's holiday guide documentary. One, Yusuf used his mysticism to spy on someone, and saw that they were talking to the judge. The judge was setting up a big meal with a big family. Didn't really want to come and do a trial for some people who shouldn't be here, but begrudgingly was like, all right, fine, whatever, we'll get it done, and that kind of stuff. Silsila got a message on his tabula that was, hey, remember me from about 6 or 7 Coriolis months ago when we were trying to find an emerald disc and we were best mates, and then you thought I was dead. Could you perhaps less lethally rendition these people to us? We'll give you some weapons and a drop point and some support. But we are in no doubt about it going to use these people's knowledge of weird old tech for our own advantage. Exactly what they were going to do there. And then the third thing was weird spooky mystic girl came and had a chat with Shanaz and was like, hey, look, I want to escape, but they won't let me because I'm like weird spooky mystic and they like that. So if you kill everybody, I'll come with you and I'll help you, sort of.
Nothing quite like that little qualifier at the end there.
Yeah, sort of. And that's where we were. We were in this prison cell.
The youth of today.
We could hear out in the hangar, because this prison cell is in the belly of an old transport ship that the original folks came here, because officially these folks are here to genetically engineer the plants and the wildlife, make it more sustainable, because there are giant death spiders around. Yeah.
Crop rotation in the 17th century was considerably more widespread after.
Mm-hmm.
Spiders?
Yeah. After the death spiders were... So that's kind of where we are. In the hold, not far away, we can hear things being scraped around, presumably to make some sort of stage. Maybe where they're going to hang you. Maybe where the judge is going to stand and shout at you. We're not quite sure. But that's where we sort of begin. The three of you in the prison cell. Silsila's got his little tabula. I think we were at the point where they were like, would you like the help? Would you like the information on where the drop point is and the weapon cache and the extraction location is?
If I remember rightly, what I did was I pretended to let her persuade, saying that I wasn't happy about gonna keep people alive, like doing it, are we the bad guys? Are you the good guys? And reluctantly accepted to help because I want the location of the weapons and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a lie anyway, because you're the best murderer here.
I mean, I really hope so. We're in a lot of trouble otherwise.
No, we're only in this prison cell because we choose to be.
That is positive thinking.
We could get out anytime.
Nadina, that's her name. Nadina Sarish.
Yeah, Nadina. Because she was hanging out with the Astaban.
Yeah,
on
we
the ship when I
spied on her.
on her.
Yeah.
And
Spied
she
on
had
her.
The Blue Rose?
The Blue Rose,
Blue
which is
Rose.
I asked her to tell me what it was, and she was like, secrets of her.
Patchy village in the Masang Delta of the Ordana system.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think I'm going to use Dihut's reroll and the most pointless thing.
We're going to hang around for this meal?
No, we're not invited to the meal.
No, the
The judge
meal
was
was
having the meal.
what you spied on the
Yeah.
judge.
But are we going to wait for them, or are we going to get out and start murdering people? I'll say that a bit quietly.
Good choice. Yeah, well done. Well, one step, possibly not announcing that part of events because we've still got a few days. But right now, I'm curious as to why exactly they've just thrown us in prison. They don't necessarily have a reason. Yes, we're illegally in their place, but we're far too desperately incompetent to actually be a threat to them.
So it's two things, I think. One might be the sneaky Nazarene cultist thing. And the other is, I think they're doing something illegal with the plants and things like that. So, from quite vague memories, to be fair. And that's what they're bothered about in this case.
They could just want us not contaminating stuff as well, right? They are doing bioengineering of plants, probably in the natural environment. So,
Oh, bless you,
We could-
Yusuf, my sweet summer child.
just trying to play devil's advocate for a moment and see all sides of this potential shit show that might be about to happen.
I don't think they'd be talking about executing us if they were just a little ticked off at the possible risk of contamination.
Yeah, they'd sue us or fine us of some sort. That'd be a financial consideration, not a murderation.
Yeah. Sorry, I was off having a long wee for a while there. I didn't hear some of the conversation.
That's fair.
You know,
I'm inclined to agree with you. I think they're definitely up to multiple things on a variety of levels and are probably outrageously suspicious of anybody that comes anywhere near them. They prefer to go out and trade rather than have anyone come in, which means they're doing something in here they don't want people to know about, which to me suggests possibly another site, maybe underground below the area, a dig into old ruins, something like that in the
Well, it's good though.
jungle around us.
We can pretend that's the reason we're here and not the cultist thing. If it comes down to it.
I would imagine if they've got a nice secret location, they're probably doing their culty things in there if they are cults.
Oh my god, they're Bond villains, aren't they? We'll just get them to explain everything to us.
Is there a nearby hollowed out volcano?
I think we're in it. That's what we're in. We just didn't realise.
No, we're in
Cunningly disguised as a jungle.
Where is the big picture of
They
it?
all slide back and there's an enormous spaceship.
It's-
We're inside a giant caldera.
There, look. Can't see.
Yes.
That's it, look.
Oh yeah.
Technical sharing of images on this absolute
Impressive.
supreme production.
Share with players.
Yeah. Hold the book
Do you
up
want
to the
me
camera.
hold it up so you can still talk to people?
No, it's okay. Everybody's seen now. I'm sure in post. I won't. I shouldn't say that. I'm not going to do that. But no, it's this big ship. It was
Yeah, we were just kidding about it.
okay, and it's got like bits built onto the side. There are like steps and layers of lean-to style constructions and that kind of stuff that go all the way up.
The bowels of the vessel.
Yeah, and you're down in the
Yeah.
hold
But
kind of
you're
area.
not telling me, Silsila, that you couldn't just break out of this cell in an instant if you really wanted to. Come on.
I mean, what's the lock made out of? Is this
I
a...
tell you what, because looking at it, like we've already established, there's no real surveillance here. This is more of like a drunk tank style situation.
Which is good because of the amount of times we've given away our secret plan.
So I can't data gin, but I'm really good with technology. This is some kind of mechanical.
Yeah, it's like it's not going to be a difficult thing to escape from.
That's what I mean. We're here as a courtesy. If we want to get out, we can get out. But getting out doesn't serve our interests at the minute.
No. I mean, we can just we kept talking to them about how exciting the courtroom episode was going to be.
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh yeah.
Because we are the directors, I think, Pete. Or you're the cameraman.
I'm the cameraman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the cameraman.
So I
got some good shots actually. Of
cameraman, producer, and star. Yeah.
Channel the mighty and thespian. It was just a
yeah. So we're not gonna break out. We're gonna sit tight for a little bit, see what happens.
Yeah, early days.
Yeah.
Okay.
If this is a mechanical door, then I think we should just unlock it just to cause a little bit of confusion when they come.
So when they arrive, they just open it.
Yeah, exactly.
We're like, we're still in here.
Yeah.
We unlocked it, but we're still in here.
Nobody locked us in.
Let's not give too much away too soon. They can go through all the time and trouble of unlocking the door, because if we unlock it, then they might lock it harder next time, and that just adds a few seconds to our next escape.
Fair enough, then. That is a very sensible thing.
Okay. So we sit there for a little bit longer. Silsila resists the urge for shenanigan.
Well, did all our stuff off, didn't we? I take it we don't have any guns.
They didn't, obviously they didn't take all your stuff, but like the drone camera, your cases and supply boxes and that kind of stuff. So things you would have on you, would have on you, but the extended kind of supplies.
Like my frag grenades and my pistol.
Is that what you've got on you inside your jumpsuit? Inside your...
I mean, I highly doubt I'm trucking my sniper rifle around.
I've got a talisman and a flare.
Yeah, in fairness, we were also posing as a film crew, so toting around a sniper rifle and a bunch of frag grenades might not do us any favors.
Well, on the one hand, a sniper rifle and things like protection for your camp on your journey. Like if you think about you're doing a jungle safari style.
I think in the cases, I've probably got
big
like,
game
hunting
gun, and all of that.
Yeah.
You know, not frag grenades because that's a bit,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
That's a bit the Mighty Boot radio show.
But yeah, like things like, you know, Silsila's tabula or communicator or whatever it is he has, and knife and frag, you know, not frag grenade, but you know, small concealable sort of things are. They didn't frisk you, they didn't take all that stuff off you.
Sure.
They didn't really, like, they had a presence of guard, but it seemed to be more like there was one chap in charge and everybody else was like, I'm still putting my guard hoodie on as I'd run down to the pier.
The Grand High Poobah guy was like, no, get away. And the guy was like, oh, we're on camera.
Yeah. It was a very different... Yeah. When's this going to be on the net? When am I going to see it? So we sit and we wait for a little while. We... Just confirm for me, did you agree to Nadina? Like, did you say, yes, we're going to extract these folks?
I think I don't know, because we talked about it, and we talked about pretending to let her persuade me. And I feel that I did tell her yes. And she told us where the weapons cache was.
Okay.
But she turned us down for the Blue Rose.
She, I remember her telling you that they might need some of these Nasserim to help with the Blue Rose. That was the suggestion.
Yeah.
Because they were like, bring us the Blue Rose folk, bring us the Nasserim folk, these old culture knowledge users, so we can extrapolate that, like get access to more.
Which is another reason why we don't want to do it, because
Not the slightest. I don't trust her at all.
We want to use them to invert the universe.
Yeah, I thought they'd taken our weapons away, and I was like, oh, guns are great. Let's go get theirs.
The things that the Astaban, Nadina and stuff will undoubtedly be bigger, better, faster, harder tech. Yeah. There might even be... I was going to say there might even be protection in there rather than just offense. and there'll definitely be, if they're expecting you to extract these folks alive, there should no doubt be like flak jackets and protection equipment
Sounds
for
good.
the folks, or just black bags to put over the head and drag them out.
Yeah, I feel like we're not the professional folk. Like, they've got a plan, they've got drop sites, they've got hidden caches. We've got a bullshit. Got 10 minutes.
Yeah, but they've also got an extended network of resources, and we're still ripping off a rich dude that pissed us off a year ago.
Mhm.
So,
I mean, that's just.
yeah.
But yeah, we did. I'll say that because I remember discussing it.
Mhm.
But yeah, we said yes to.
I'm going to go and change. Well, I can't get caught in this. This is a travel outfit.
I'll turn around then, because we're in a little drunk tank together. aren't we?
Yeah,
But my
So-
clothes are out there. I'm going to get them to take me out to change.
The room you're
Okay.
in looks like an old locker room. Like
Sure.
if you'd come out of stasis or something through travel, you would have come into a locker room. It looks like they've literally just bolted and welded a gate on the front of it, that sort of
Sure.
thing.
Still, you know that Nadina and those crazies will just like kill us or hand us over as the perpetrators immediately after that happens, right? So we need to, we need their weapons.
Oh yeah, I don't.
but we
trust them
need to
in-
get the fuck out of here as soon as we can.
I don't trust them in the slightest, and out of here while lobbing the torpedoes we don't have at them would be perfect.
I'm going to shout for someone. Hello?
Okay, you call out
Hello? Is there anybody there?
after
He's so sick. Come quick.
get
He's
help.
really sick.
To get help?
After a short while, one of the guards comes, and it like, and I'm still using guard in a very loose term. It's like somebody's 20-year-old lad who's a bit burly, and has put his like guard hoodie on. Like, he turns up in that kind of stuff. He's like, what?
Oh, good. You're here. I need to change. If there's going to be a trial, I'll need to get my clothes and change into a more suitable outfit. These are travel clothes. I can't go like this. Look, unbutton. It's filthy.
Just like, well, he's like, well, I guess that makes sense. When Pandu comes, they're always quite well dressed for judgment.
Exactly. See, I wouldn't want to insult the justice by appearing in such a travel dirty state. So it's only appropriate that I put on something more appropriate. So if you could just take me to my belongings.
Right. And he like, does that, hang on, and leaves for a moment, and there is a conversation, and it sounds like part of it is in is Zeni. It's like a Zeni patois. Like there's obviously a local language that's got mixed in and that kind of stuff. So you mostly understand it, and it is essentially like the woman wants to get changed before judgment. Like what do I do? Like can we just let her go and get her stuff? Like it's very obvious they don't have much crime or bad stuff. Like that's totally bizarre. And there's a bit of a backwards and forwards for them to be like, no, we should really watch them. I think that's what the rules are. You can't just let a prisoner wander around. Like, you've watched Judicar Coriolis 4 or whatever, Like,
Love the fighting.
yeah, Coriolis, Law and Order, that kind of stuff. And they come back. The lad is there. He opens the door, and it is like Silsila imagined. It's a very simple sort of lock on one side. Opens the door and is like, okay, he's already opened the door, but then he tells Silsila and Yusuf, "You two go to the back, and you come out." Like he's already opened the door. Like you could just rush him. And then invites you to come out and gestures to where, and you can see all your stuff because it's piled up just on the other side of the corridor. And just gestures you to come over.
I want to say like, oh, just what's your name? We'll interview you later.
He says a name. He doesn't have a name. I haven't got my list of names ready. So he's Aziz.
Aziz, it is then.
As always, Aziz.
More light
Aziz. I used to work with Aziz. Didn't get old. He hated that joke. So as sort of gestures over to where your things are, and make some sort of like suggestion, like no trying to escape now. Can't hide from justice.
I don't know. Why would I change to go to court? That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, and then it dawns on him like you're at least a very noble, fancy-looking person. He's a teenage, young lad, and there's like no changing rooms. He's like, oh, and he shouts down the corridor to somebody like, "You're gonna have to come and escort these guys somewhere else so the lady prisoner can get changed. What about if we get my mum to come and watch her so she doesn't escape while I get changed because I can't watch her?" And there's a bit of a like panic sort of thing. Like this whole little village is way over its head for whatever's going on. He tends to use like, "Please stand there for a minute while we get the right officers."
Yes, not a problem.
It's like,
yeah, absolutely.
I could look at Silsila like, this just feels weird. Like, is this? I'm not saying anything because he's right there, obviously. But I'm just giving Silsila like a.
You mean they're not? And I like wiggle my eyebrows and everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Only 8 names.
Mm-hmm. After a short while, a middle-aged woman turns up. She gives Az a hug. She also gives him like a Tupperware box, something. She's like, "Oh, I kept it warm for you," sort of thing. And he takes it and he's like, "Stop it! This is prison. I'm supposed to be on guard duty." Like there's a whole embarrassing moment for poor Az. The woman stays. Az calls you two to come out into the hold, and the older woman sort of stands there and is like, "So you getting changed?
Yes, thank you.
You want someone to help braid your hair?" Not
Oh,
God.
that would be wonderful.
Like I should have brought. Like we have some good like lip stains and things, and she.
Oh, don't worry. No, I've got some in here.
Yeah.
I'll just go through. Just pick out more appropriate for court outfit. In fact, you know what? I might pick out an outfit that would be more appropriate if I was running the court.
So while there is this wholly not being wholly like changing montage with this.
Yeah. That worked even better than I'd hoped because they've let the boys out to wander around the spaceship, which is perfect.
Now they haven't let them out, so to speak. They've sort of ushered you into the main hold, and you can see like over on one side was like a medicurge, like a medical center, and then there was some sort of biochemistry lab where they were dropping off samples and that kind of stuff. Far end, you can see there is some sort of like cryo sort of lab. You can see there's a lot of things that are held in stasis in a lab on the far end. But in the main open space, they have put like a stage. On the stage is a chair. It's not like a fancy chair, but it's a big chair. There is a table with a jug of water, a notepad, and then a bench, something akin to like a school bench on the other side.
What's Aziz? Normally a sofa. Like she normally sits on a sofa facing the person in the chair, and then they do the interview.
And
They haven't got it right. You should go and tell them they look really stupid, like the whole horizon.
he's like, no, this is what we always have for Padu.
Oh,
Like, they sit on the chair.
Where's the fire exits and the toilets? She always wants to know. Can you, I need to. I'm sorry, I'm health and safety.
And
I
he
know it
gestures-
annoys you. I'll say to Cecilia, I know you hate health and safety.
He gestures at the
sounds
big
terrible.
hole in the side of the ship. That's basically the entrance to the. He goes like, if there's a fire, like, go outside.
Didn't know you had a.
Fire
If you had a
is on.
collection point somewhere else.
What? No, like if there's a fire, like we run outside. If you've got a bucket, that's great because then you've got to run back in with the water. We can't let the ship burn.
Well, sure. No, I'm just checking these things.
He's like,
do the
I've never been here
death
before,
spiders ever
mate.
come
No.
here?
oh no, we've it's really interesting actually. And then this is where he like flips into like a much more sort of educated than your average kind of villager. He starts talking about with a combination of like they used to have a lot of electric fields and a lot of what is it called on the spaceships? Displacement fields that they use to keep the air out of the space. So if you have a breach on the Kudapatilla, there would be a displacement field that would sort of keep space out, if you will. They used to use a lot of them. They had a lot of generators for that kind of stuff. Now they've pared that back because through a process of like encouraging the natural wildlife and bio-sculpting some of the plant life and such, they've changed the local area. So the death spiders don't really like this valley as much anymore, which has pushed them further away. What we are looking at is bio-sculpting some of the natural wildlife to be more, to be less of a prey or less of a, what would you say? Less of like a tempting
Food
prey.
source.
Yeah, like a shittier food source. Less
less
nourishing.
attractive prey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
less
Yeah.
attractive prey. Like
paint them red and put eyes on their butt.
Give them
then nothing
toxin
will attack
sacks
them.
and
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
and all
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly
Like
the kind of
toads.
things that evil
Like
bio
toads.
sculptors would want to do to their humanite foot soldiers on board the ships that they've got being built.
Had a death spider as a pet, and I'll go and interview them or something.
it's like,
Maybe a
oh,
small one.
icons, no. Like, why would we want to keep one of them as a pet? We want to get rid of them we want to reclaim the valley and bring more places for people to live. Like,
You were talking about all the things you were doing, and like maybe you could make them docile, controllable.
well, we have tried to, like,
Looks at you, Susie says we tried.
we have tried to like engineer, but like the more docile and like the less aggressive death spiders just get killed by the more aggressive death spiders. Like it didn't really work trying to do it that way. Like those smaller colonies just got destroyed because the less attractive prey was less attractive, but the pathetic death spiders were
We're going for angry herbivores.
Sounds like you guys are having a load of fun out here with like messing around with animals, disrupting the ecosystem, and doing some really cool, weird shit.
well, the ecosystem.
I would love
was,
to get
like,
some pictures of some of the really like weird stuff that you've made, like interesting things. Like have you like mixed some of them together and stuff?
Oh,
Have you like
no,
made
no.
human spider hybrids, all that kind of thing? You know, the
It's
really
like-
cool things.
He looks at you. He's like, "We're not monsters. We're just reclaiming the valley and removing."
Killing all the death spiders. Yeah, sure. It's cool.
We
You
don't
say
normally
what-
do
And then he's like,
documentaries.
you're one of those eco people who thinks we should."
No. I think it's cool. I think we make a video game out of it. It'd be awesome.
We normally do like the scary films, not the documentaries. We just
Yeah.
This is right up our alley, man. Documentary shit's boring.
You learn a lot about lighting when you make horror movies.
He's like, "I don't watch many horror movies out here."
Like, you live in it, man.
He's like, again, no, this is good science. But
Right.
also, now and again, we have like predators. There are things out in the jungle that are worse than the death spiders. There's, bigger beasts and that kind of stuff. Sometimes they sort of stumble into the area. There are some big marine creatures out there as well. Sometimes there's hunting parties that go and sort of scare them off. It's fun when you get to be one of them.
That sounds cool. Interview about that then.
How many of you are there here? I look around. Just
He does a little bit of mental sort of arithmetic, and he's doing more like, so and so has 5 kids. Thingy and Umia, they've got a
Sure.
family in there. That sort of stuff.
They've got 5 evil kids. These guys, they've got 4 evil kids.
Yeah. There's about 30 people here.
Cool.
Majority.
each.
Literally thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Majority, like there are like 4 or 5 bigger families, and then a few couples and some some single folk mixed in with that. Majority came with the ship. Folks like he was about 8 when they moved out here. He feels like he's lived here most of his life. Others, there's 1 or 2 folks who are Kachi, which is the local population. I can't remember what they're called on Kua, but there's often like human people who already settled here a long time ago. It's Kachi in this area. There's a couple of folks who have married into Kachi natives, and their kids obviously are quite young. But it's mostly folks who came on the colony ship to do the sculpting.
Cool. 30 people. So you've been here for like years, right? It must get a bit boring. I mean, you've got really interesting science stuff going on. Absolutely.
He's like, we don't really do much. Like now and again, we've headed up to the city. The city that I can't remember at the top of my head, but is in fact named after a cartel, if we remember.
Yeah, it's a place
yes.
instead of giving us permission.
Yeah. He's like, now and again we'll go up to the cartel town to get something big and exciting, but we've got fabricators and things to keep us going, and the biosculpted plants and things we've grown are really like he's into it, like
Yeah.
Love the enthusiasm. That's really well on camera.
Like,
hey, what can you tell us about? What did you say it was called? Poncho or something?
Poncho. He laughs. He's like, please don't call them.
Sorry, I got lost in all the lines.
Padnu. Please don't call Padnu Ponchu when he comes. Look, he's quite fancy. Not as fancy as your friend getting changed, but like he used to be like a big what's it? And he's looking for like a word. Does the dances, knows the poetry. What is it? Like
Choreographer.
No. And he says something in like the local kind of dialect.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says it in like another like he's rifling through like multilingual sort of things. And he's like, courtesan. He used to be a courtesan. So he knows all the laws and that kind of stuff. That's why he's our judge.
Right.
Okay. But look, he's really fair, right? He'll only put you on like
good dancer then.
He doesn't dance that much anymore. Like, but no, he dances with his kids. He's got him and his family have got. He doesn't do many things like that. He's retired. He says he's retired. He wanted to come out here and just like I think he put a lot of money in the mission.
So, man to man, is he just spitballing? What are the chances of having a dance off instead of a trial? Because that just sounds the bomb.
He laughs, like in the laugh. echoes around the hangar.
Because you'll never see it better. I don't.
He's
And
like,
I could get the drone going
Oh
around.
yeah.
Two of them
Taylor's
dancing
oldest
on the stage.
time.
Yeah.
Tuna's oldest song. That's the shot. Like, if anybody's watched that film as much as I did when I was a child. He's like, no. Look, keep saying his name wrong. Pandu. He's gonna listen to the situation. We don't have we've got a lot of proprietary biosculpts, a lot of under embargo science going on here. So if you've not got a permit to come, you can't stay. He's probably just gonna exile you.
I mean, all the science stuff sounds great, but give her animals.
Well, look,
I don't even understand half your science stuff.
that's fine, but you're videoing stuff, and
okay.
Well, we can sit down and look at the video, and I can, like, in post-production, I can, like, blur things out, pixelate stuff. I can do all of that kind of thing. I find it really interesting that you guys are out here with such important stuff, and yet, like, people, if they wanted to just walk up, that's kind of weird.
Well, not being funny, friend. Nobody comes out here and he gestures like outside to, like, you can see a mountain and stuff. He goes, "You're in the middle of nowhere, and there are death spiders still around."
That's why. But he goes. But it's interesting.
Yeah.
No. He's like, "Look, no promises. I'm not. But you're just gonna get exiled. I think you're just gonna get sent away." Like, he's fair.
Not even just, like, restricted to, like, certain areas.
No, because Taran, Taran is the barely, like, head of police kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Taran will probably be like something like escort you back to Cartel City and put you on your spaceship and make sure you leave. He won't follow you around. So, look, it'll be met in the middle. You want to stay, you want you to go. You'll just get exiled, so you can do your shots and stuff. Like, maybe we could come out and set up a camp, and we can come out and sort of do interviews out there. But I don't think you'll be allowed to film in the city, in the town even. As you sort of like stood there, totally not guarding in any form, just having a chat. Someone comes over, and they've got in the one hand a couple of cups by the handles, and you can see they've got some sort of like drink in them. And then on the other hand, he's got like a tray, and it's got a couple of like bowls on it, and he's like, as I've got, are they supposed to be in the hangar? And Az is like, well, the woman's getting changed. She's like, oh, okay, the woman's getting changed. My mum's watching her. Oh, okay, yeah, it's cool. Kind of thing. So he sort of maneuvers. He gives you a cup of and it's just water, clean water, and like a bowl full of food. It's got some sort of rice, some sort of pickled vegetables, that kind of stuff. Looks quite, simple, but also very colourful. And he gives you them.
Local delicacy.
No, it's just tea. Just food. This is what we've got in the mess. Like, Taran said we should feed the prisoners.
Yeah. Oh, well, say thanks to him.
Yeah. And the dude, like, saunters off up to where Shanaz. Az's mum is very interested in all the fancy clothes. Like, oh, this is new, and it's not. It's like at least 7 weeks old. Oh, this is lovely. This is that kind of stuff. But then also like, oh, do you want me to braid your hair? This would look really good. Oh, we could braid this scarf into your hair. And she's actually quite good at fashion. If only she has little to none of it here in the valley, the Death Valley.
You're very good at this.
Oh, thanks.
Have you been here long?
Yeah, well, we came with the colony ship. My husband.
Uh-oh, he's got one of the names.
Got one of the names. Yeah, my husband Farouk came out. He built a lot of the machinery we use to harvest or catch fish in. He was quite in with when we did we used to have big displacement fields to stop the wildlife murdering us when we first landed, while we were still building stuff. So he built a lot of that. He's very good at that kind of thing. It's not really been something I've been interested in, but it's a nice life. I don't have to worry about being sold into slavery, and it's nowhere near as expensive as like living on Mira.
Oh, did you live on Mirror before?
Oh yeah. I'm from, and she names like not Icon City, but like a small place out there.
Places. Oh yeah, it's lovely out there.
Yeah.
And you've done a wonderful job of raising your son. What a gentleman.
He's lovely. I didn't think he would, and there's a whole sort of conversation about how he was worried he wouldn't be educated, that kind of stuff. But actually, he's very clever. He's going to take over and be, this kind of stuff when so and so retires, and hopefully he'll, carry on, and we'll have some breakthroughs and blah blah blah. And she gushes about as who isn't a named character in the book, but now feels like he should have a whole mini section.
I mean, out of character, Farouk, Anod, Oran are all on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to kind of lead her towards talking about the icons a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
do you still celebrate the icons, and do you have a temple, a place where I might be able to pray now that I've changed before the trial? It's important to get one's
she does
thoughts.
like this whole sort of like no, we're not that religious out this way. Obviously we do the she sort of like
I
we do
understand, yes.
that kind of stuff, but we don't have a temple or a shrine. We've got no alcoves here. The Kachi didn't really worship the icons that much either. There is a few bits and pieces. A lot of the young kids probably wouldn't know much beyond what they see, and when we get the vids and stuff from the bulletin and Coriolis eventually. But no, we I think, and she sort of like gestures up above it. I think somewhere in the ship there must have been an old chapel. I could go and have a chat and see if you could be led there.
That would be wonderful. Thank you so much. You've been so kind to us. I do apologize for all of the mix-up and the upheaval. We knew that there would be a little bit of a shake-up in the town when we arrived, but we didn't foresee anything quite like this. I'll be having quite strong words with the series runner and whoever has screwed up all of the paperwork in Cartel City, because this is quite an embarrassing situation to find ourselves in, especially for our pilot episode. We were so looking forward to launching with something big and exciting.
Like she sort of like shrugs, like, I'm really surprised they would come here. We're doing weird agri science and biosculpting. It's probably not going to yield profitable results for another 5 or 6 years. This is slow sort of science. It's not glamorous. I'm surprised you didn't come. Like, in a couple of years, it might be worth it.
Well, trying to get out there before every documentary maker. Honestly, I'm still fairly new to documentaries. I've done a few other TV shows and things like that. Been on the odd vid. I'm just trying to pivot to something a little bit more depth to it,
Like, we're just a village of scientists, really.
So what sort of agri research are you doing? I mean, I'm not exactly a top-notch scientist, but I did spend several hours with my head plugged into a magic hood.
So again, she talks, and it's similar to the stuff that Yusuf and Silsila have heard as go on about.
So is this like pheromonal things? You've got chemical traces in the air that you can use to dissuade creatures from entering the area, perhaps?
She nods and she's like, "Yeah, so like there's some of that, but we've biosculpted some of the plants to like emit this. We've sort of biosculpted some of the resequenced and some of the animals. We've then strategically planted things and that kind of stuff. It's more resculpting the planet than it is actually biosculpting the individual things. And you can tell she's been taught like this is probably what she's heard off Farouk and the other more science orientated folks. Like
I'll move away from that again then. What was it you used to do on Mira when you lived there?
I just ran a shop. I had a tailor's shop. I made some dresses. We always tried to keep up with the fashions that came out of Icon City, but we were a little bit far out, so it took a while.
It's the nature of space, isn't it? These things cascade out over time, and what's fashionable on Mira is unheard of on Kua until a year later, and then it's all the fashion there. And of course, Coriolis dictates the fashion everywhere.
Yeah, do you have, and she goes back into like, do you have things from Coriolis? What was the latest fashion? I don't have any fashion. Look at my swamp stained sari kind of thing.
Oh, well, I'll pull out a few magazine style vid things and flick through some fashion stuff because I'd need references to be able to show to tailors on whatever planet I go to. Make me that.
Okay,
yeah, I'll have a little chat with her about fashion and design and be a human at her.
Yeah, after a short while, you hear someone come up the corridor, and it's the chap we've seen give Yusuf and Silsila a mug of water and a bowl of food, and he's like, he definitely comes in with his back to the thing. He's like, I've got food for them. Are you decent? Should I put it on the floor? And he's like, no, we're dressed, we're fine. Yeah, just bring it in. Kate, the cell door is open. Comes in, he puts it on a bench. He's like, oh, you're done. All right, I'll go and get the other prisoners, kind of thing. And he wanders off. You can hear him shout. He's like, Az, you can bring him back. And Az is like, oh, sorry. I have to put you back in the cell now. But yeah, look, it should be fine. Like if you need a hand setting up a camp, like if you're not sort of
definitely,
if you're like city sort of folk, like a couple of me and my friends, we can come out and give you a hand if you need. And he gestures to I need to get his name right again. Toran will be pissed, but he'll be fine. We'll just do it late after we've done some of the final sort of clean downs of places. And he sort of like he walks ahead, like you could just turn around and run. Like he's walking ahead to be like, come on, let's put you back in prison.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna follow him
with your bowl and your mug.
I'm not eating or drinking it.
Okay. Suspicious. And
Yusuf turning down food.
I know, right?
Silsila, quick, check all of the nearby plant pods. He's been replaced with a pod person.
No.
I steal food from rich people. I don't know what these people are. They seem to be bumpkins in the middle of nowhere who apparently are an evil cult.
Hyper educated. Yeah, quite nice for evil people, aren't they?
So they put you back in the cell. They close the door. Az's mum like waves, like bye, see you in a bit, kind of thing.
Thanks, Mrs. Aziz's mum.
Yeah. and they leave all together. They're like, oh, they've got lovely dresses from Mira. Oh. You know, that kind of stuff as they leave down the corridor. You're left alone for a little while. Unless you're trying to escape in the next little while.
I think
I
might
think
have
so.
a quick conflab. That went
Yeah.
remarkably well.
I mean, maybe the A to the
Mm-hmm.
just. Do you have a tie? Me and Yusuf can put a tie on. Just like not changing our clothing, just adding a tie to it.
So like there are 8 weirdos here, but everyone else doesn't know what they're up to.
I
Like,
think, yeah, they're the cover for those people. But from the
yeah, but
sound
they're
of
their
things,
families.
yeah, exactly, which makes it that much worse. But just
Or
because you're
it's
evil
all
doesn't
bullshit.
preclude you from having a family.
Sure. Or
No, they're up to something with the science.
they
Doesn't
are.
add up.
I think that they have a capability that the people, your friends, don't want to fall into the hands of other people.
That too, yes.
So I don't think they necessarily need to be bad people. These people are very useful for the bad people. So
I want you to remember
wipe
as
them
well
out.
that you did walk through someone's mind and they did talk about exterminating us.
Yeah, they talk about killing
yeah.
us.
Mhm.
Yeah, they did talk about killing us. Yes, they did talk about killing us.
So at
I'm
least some
just-
of them.
Yeah, but that might just be, I don't know.
But no, I agree that
A
the
bit of
entire
friendly
place isn't.
murder between strangers.
I do agree the entire place isn't bad or a loss, and an element of this is almost without a doubt a test for us. They've sent us to this particular location. There's no black and white here. This is all nuance. This is all shades of grey, and they want to see how we acquit ourselves and what steps we'll take when confronted by ethical challenges, which is exactly the issue that they had during that first war. I'm beginning to think that our list of 8 names may only contain a few actual problem people.
There's only 30 people here.
Mm-hmm. Lived on Mira beforehand. Married to the technology Farouk, who's on the list.
Mm-hmm.
As
Is
is his
she on
dad.
the list?
Very
She's
religious.
not on the list. No,
She's not on the list. But
no, they're not religious at all. They don't have a temple. They don't have a
No,
place.
Mira
She's
in general.
Mhm.
Mirans in general are very religious.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's unusual
super.
that she's come from Mira, but he's
well,
not religious.
maybe that's why they left.
But equally,
like she
she
doesn't
said
know where the
that-
temple is, so she's never used it.
she's going to see if they can find a temple to
Yeah.
pray in before the trial, and there might be one in the ship, which means
It means
They're
they didn't.
using it for something else.
No, they
they're
didn't
not-
use it when they were on the ship either.
they didn't use it on the ship, and they're not using it to pray to the icons now. So the icons clearly don't matter to them, which is a very unusual
Well, that's what
state
they
of
say, right?
affairs
She's
here in
married
the
to one of
horizon.
these guys, so she might know something about it and be a bit like, oh, I don't know if there is one. Oh, it's full of all those evil icons that my husband likes to put
Either
up on the
way,
walls.
it's still very suspicious on both sides.
Oh, yeah,
Either
yeah,
it's
yeah.
full of evil icon hybrids, or
Yeah.
we've got an entire town full of people who don't observe any of the Horizon's festivals and holidays and religious observances. Anyway, what did you find out outside?
There's a medicurge over there. There's a thing over there. There's a thing over there. I saw this over
We
there.
know where the
way
fire
to get out
exit
is
is.
that way. You
Oh,
look
good.
Over there, there's a toilet.
Emergency exits and fire exits. That's very important to me, you know.
I guess what we really learned is that
Oh, we knew which way to run out.
yeah, Aziz is surprisingly normal, very helpful, and offered to help us set up in the jungle after we get exiled.
Yeah.
That's what
So
I
we
think.
can do
They're
interviews outside.
They're not
and-
all
Yeah.
bad, are they?
Well,
There's
there might be none of them as bad if it's just a test.
Also, like, why haven't people come in here and just like murdered all these people before?
because they'd have to cross a giant jungle full of death spiders.
Not in a
In
spaceship.
a spaceship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if
Fly
we had
over,
weapons on our
Bomb
ship.
the shit out of it. Why isn't Nadina come in
You're right.
here,
This would
pointed
be
big barrels at it,
super easy. There's
and
something
gone,
here, isn't there?
we are here to take you. You know, I don't
literally
know.
a sitting duck that nobody knows about, and you could just, natural disaster it.
Yeah. Yeah, this place could be destroyed from orbit.
Feels a little bit like,
They don't need us down here, do they?
yeah. So us being here is like a
So
huge,
why is this
fishy
surgical? These aren't
setup.
people that would care about 30 lives to take out 8.
Mhm.
Oh, we're flushing out their bad guys, their real enemy.
Mm.
Maybe.
As you're kind of chatting, eating or not eating the bowl of
Drawing like circles and lines on the wall.
getting string out,
Just
big
cutting
wide
one of
eyes,
Snaz's
smoking a
outfits
cigarette.
into,
Yeah.
like tiny strings.
As you're falling down a conspiracy theory rabbit hole, you can hear noise gathering down the short corridor. You can hear, and it is like almost all the village is gathered. You can hear kids like laughing and running around, and like someone crying, bunch of like old lads kind of greeting each other and be like, oh yeah, that kind of stuff. That kind of cacophony of the local sort of zenny patois sort of around. And that sort
They're
of
all
thing.
chanting death, 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 death.
Kalima, Kalima, Kalima. So yeah, that's what they're chanting. But you can hear that. So, like everybody is there, and after a little while, somebody comes up the corridor. You can hear them sort of, and there's more than just one. There's like a group of folks, and at the front of it all is the chap. Toran, he's the dude who met you on the old chap who met you on the pier. He looks into the room, and he's like, when would, and like he clearly instantly notices like Shanaz has got changed, and he's like, when did you get? And then somebody down the corridor like shouts like, Toran, come on, I've got things boiling, let's get this moving, kind of thing, like. He gives you all this sort of like, nah. Opens the gate and tells you to move out and head down the corridor. As you get to like the entrance into the hangar bay, that is now like this public sort of square. On the chair on the stage is this very finely dressed. Best way to describe him is Silver Fox sort of thing.
Totally did. Know that he's a
I'm gonna
courtesan.
whisper. He used to be a
I
courtesan
was
to
going to say,
Shanaz.
just click then. We didn't tell Shanaz that he.
That would have been a nice thing to know.
I'm just whispering it to you as we go.
Yeah, very nicely dressed. Silver Fox chap on this chair on the stage. As he sees you sort of like making your way into the thing, he gestures to like this little like 6-year-old child, this young child next to him. He's like, and points to somebody in the crowd, and the kid looks at you folks, looks at this other person, like almost as a little like stamp of the foot, and he kind of pats them. They run into the crowd to go to like the other parent kind of.
Not the kid.
No,
it's
much younger.
It's a little kid. Nur, the teenager who the spooky, she's sat there, and there is a bench, and on the bench is 6 people, Nur and these 5 other people, and Toran sort of pushes you a bit, like, come on, leads you into the hangar. Everybody goes a bit quiet. There's a couple of folks who are like, yeah, this is funny. And you can see as you kind of look out, like, Az is stood with like 2 or 3 other teenage, young adult sort of guys at the back. His mum sort of points out some stuff on Shanaz's dress. It's like, that's kind of thing. And you can see that. And there are some other people. Some of the folks there are literally feeding the kids like stuff out of bowls. Like, we've got to bring them out at tea time to come to this. Everybody's mandatory sort of attendance. I'm still going to feed them the chicken nuggets and chips whilst we're sat in this thing. Toran Horan sort of pushes you up into the room, not like aggressively, but in that sort of like, hurry up, come on, let's get this over with. Up onto the stage, sits you on this bench, and goes and sits down with those 6 folks on the bench on the side. Nur is snap bang in the middle of these folks, almost like they're trying to bracket her in and keep her on the bench with the others. The courtesan, this silver fox chap, the judge, looks over at you and looks down at notes that he's been given. He says, "My name is Panu Lai. I am the judge and the arbiter here in our small town. It has been told that you have arrived here with no permit, and you are expecting to record a video of our small village and the work we're doing here." And he looks at you like, this is
Not of your work, of the natural environment around here. Shanaz, our star, is exploring interesting environments, and this is very much out of the way. We weren't intending to film, and I'll point quite pointedly at like the cries room and all that. We don't want to film in there, and complete editorial pixelation in post-production will be, possible. So we don't want to show off what you're doing. Just maybe talk to a few people about living in this wonderful place.
And you see him look down at Toran in the thing, who is like arms folded, sort of like, kill them now kind of thing. I've got guns, let me do it. That sort of face. And he looks back at you and says, You're Shanaz from Stars of the Baron. Is that correct?
Yep, I'll give him a little nod.
And then he looks down to the bench, like as if to say, see, look, how can, that sort of thing. It's unfortunate that such a famous person came here. We have some very embargoed science happening in this situation. Oh, you're doing a mind walk. All right. Are you doing that right now?
Yeah, when he says we have some very embargoed science in
You
this.
put some of the most powerful people in the Federation in the room with a psychic.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to use my talisman,
Oh, excellent.
which I had under my shirt.
Dice.
I got 1, 2, 3 successes.
Wow, critical success. So what are we doing here?
I am it is mind reading the surface thoughts and not the seeing out of his eyes, because that's not what I'm worried about.
Look at yourself. It's a really good way to get ready without a mirror.
That'd be like, oh shit, I did the wrong one. I did a long wee rather than a short wee. No, so it's mind reading what's going on in his head while he's saying that.
So as he says, like some heavily embargoed pregnant pause science, his mind doesn't necessarily go straight to the rooms around. His mind thinks of a slightly flooded room that looks like it's almost lit by glow globes. Like there's no natural light. The water is like making this sort of oddly eerie kind of view. And then it looks it could either be like a high fantasy style sarcophagus kind of creepy dungeon sort of thing, or some sort of old stasis chamber. It's very ornate, very like do you know what it makes you think of? all the way back to the beginning of the campaign in the spooky ship inside the butterfly ship. That sort of
Ooh.
naturally, ornately technology, like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And that's what he thinks of when he's saying we've got some heavily embargoed science here, and we can't have our funding jeopardized by inadvertently filming this situation.
And nod along into.
Although my esteemed elders would advise that we escort you back to your ships, and as he's saying, as you know, escort you back to your ship, he's actually thinking Taran wants to take you out into the jungle and murder you. Like, that's the advice that I've been like consulted with. Although my esteemed elders have, of course, some of my esteemed elders have recommended we take you back to your ship and encourage you to leave our poor planet. I feel that if Shanaz here is recording a documentary, you would best be served doing it where the wildlife is. As much as I would like to give leave to this, without prior legal agreements on what could be filmed, oversight in post-production, and he starts citing, like, you know, approvals
Contract
and
law.
yeah, that kind of stuff, like, you know, that sort of stuff. He would, like, the village, the elders would have to have approval of the video, and then their supporters and their sponsors and the corporations that have brought them out here. Without this prior to entry, I'm afraid we cannot permit you to film in the city, in the town. It's unfortunate situation, and he's like giving this judgment in a, like, I'm really sorry we have to exile you. I'm so sorry. I would love to accommodate you. And I know, like, some of my elders, he gestures to that bench of 7 other folks where Taran and Nur sit. Some of my elders are very protective of our town and the work we're doing here. I understand you're just here for this production. We can, it's late, we can house you for tonight. I'm afraid for this evening, we must keep your recording equipment here on the ship. Taran will give you a receipt if that's what you wish, but he'll show you where it's stored. And in the morning, we'll escort you out of the village and help you find a place to stay and record.
And it's like, wow, don't you get to say, wow, this
isn't the trial.
piece?
So Shanaz is going to shift body language until she looks remarkably like the Vestal statue that we've seen.
Okay.
In terms of pose and poise.
Ooh.
And
That's
she will say, we are deeply troubled that we have caused such consternation among your community. This was never our intent, and I shall be taking this up with my legal people. And the miscreants in Cartel City will face the full wrath of, well, my ire, shall we say.
Do, for effect, Yusuf and Silsila wince? Like, ugh.
Yeah, I try and sweat.
Sweat profusely. It is quite humid out here. Yeah, make a manipulation roll. Please, Shanaz.
Okay.
Do that thing you're aggressively
Do
fantastic
that
at.
thing. That and that still count. And
24
I
successes.
be malicious with this at Torren?
Oh, okay.
You know,
And do some-
aggressively polite.
Okay.
and really make him feel like an absolute fool
Okay.
just by being nice.
Then corporate malfeasance.
Yeah, 3 successes.
Okay.
It's not too shabby.
So Yusuf, like a couple of things happen. Yusuf in Pandu's like brain, as you're still sort of reading these surface thoughts with a critical success. You know, they want to take you away and murder you, and you know all that kind of stuff. And part of what he's part of why he's not taking you away and murdering you is because people will notice Shanaz has disappeared. Like whether they know
she'll go missing.
Whether they know if she's in, like they're out of touch with current media, but Shanaz has been on Stars as the Bar, and Shanaz is a notable person. Yeah. You just up and murder Shanaz, someone will eventually try and look where she's.
Yeah, she does have a reputation of 7.
Yeah. So as Shanaz sort of twists and moves and presents this sort of conversation, in his brain, he sort of almost like does she worship Buhaya as like a, you know, did I make a mistake? And Torrin, as you sort of direct your stress, your ire at him, it's like the stress, I guess the sort of damage is this sort of tough man kind of veneer drops a bit, and he too, like you know, we as the external viewers and Shanaz who might recognize the sort of face, it's similar to that kind of face she saw when she was pretending to be the avatar in the temple on Debaran. Like those folks are like, are you like you know, are we in the same club sort of conversation?
Well, the
happens.
Nazarene club is, you know.
Yeah, you don't talk about the being in the Nazarene club, but there's definitely that look of have I completely messed up here from Toran? Maybe like, why didn't you do the secret handshake sort of, like, did I miss a command? Did I miss a thing? We've now declared we're going to exile these folks, and you know we can't change that in front of the whole town kind of thing. So Yusuf and Silsila make the stressed faces, and Pandu sort of looks, tilts his head a bit, and nods and says, if you need any correspondence from myself or the village to confirm that we had not received it, communication logs and the such, we can provide these for your case. I hope this does not financially impact your production too much. You have our apologies. We will find you somewhere to sleep here in the ship. And then there's a couple of folks who are like, that's all right, I've got you know, that kind of thing. Like, nah, don't switch on the generators. I've got some spare beds. Like, there's a couple of folks who literally just shout up. And he looks at you like, do you want to, which would you prefer as our guests for the night? To sleep here on the ship, or perhaps the hospitality of our village?
I've really turned down the hospitality of the village. Much as we'd like to sneak around the ship and have a bit of a poke around at some of the stuff we're not allowed to look at.
I mean,
No, let's all stay in the village.
I think we're a package deal, aren't we?
They'll try and get you all to do the same thing. Yeah. You graciously accept beds in the village. And like there's a couple of folks who are like, great, I've got some, you know, that kind of stuff. It's like, all right, can you bring me the bed you've got, you know, that kind of stuff. And you can hear it going on in the sort of group of folks. Like this is essentially one just large family that happen to not all be related or married. That kind of thing. Yet. Pandu like claps his hands. And he's like, Before everybody goes, I've got a few village announcements. Everybody groans. This is rumor control. Here are the facts.
To the owner of the yellow Fiat Panda, please ensure that your lights are switched off.
People have been putting paper in the plastic recycling
Yeah,
again.
absolutely.
Can you
Like
please put the paper in the paper bin?
That
Also,
sort of thing
please
at
stop
the end.
feeding the death spiders. Back.
Yeah.
Whoever
Yeah,
keeps
yeah.
removing the letter C from the arrow pointing towards the canal, please stop it.
Yeah. Who is he? All right,
You
so
should go get Aziz drunk.
we can get him drunk on some hooch. Pandu goes through these things, and some of them he's reading off a card that someone has given us. A woman from the bench of people stands up. Is it? Yeah. Oh, sorry, no, it's a man. A chap stands up from the bench. He says, "Well, everybody's here," and he reads off like 4 names. You're overdue your annual checkup. If you don't come into the med center tomorrow, I'm going to come out and find you in the fields. And you can see these 3 like older people just like, "Oh, I don't want a med." That kind of stuff.
Get you right in the canal.
Yeah. I don't want, a cough. I don't know. And so they're like, "But yeah, Elam, look, I'm not ill," that kind of thing. And they shout back, and there's a bit of backwards and forwards, but you can already see like the folks who said they're going to put you up for the night of, headed off to prepare rooms. Kids have got way too bored and are running around. Small child comes up onto the stage to try and get more sweets or whatever. The judge is hiding in his robes, kind of thing. And like people are just like, it's done now. Like it's been decided. Haran talks to some of the folks on the bench, and these 7 folks are what Pandu called his esteemed elders. Even though 2 of them,
Quick grenade.
yeah, frag grenade. Even though 2 of them look like they're teenagers. Yeah. Nur is a teenager, and there was another teenage girl on this bench as well. He seems to be a little less there under duress, kind of thing. Like Nora's definitely like sullen, kind of, "I don't want to be sat here. Why are you making me engage with you?" This other girl, she's sat there, and it's weird because Toran gives her like a sort of respect kind of thing. He like leans down instead of leaning over her, like kneels down to talk. So he's talking up towards her as she's sat there, and she's obviously consoling him. He's like, it's that conversation where he's like, "I tried to get them murdered, but Pandu said that one of them's famous." That kind of thing. You're going to escort them out, and then maybe the death spiders will eat them in the morning, that kind of thing. And she's obviously like consoling him and like, "No, you did right," that kind of thing. What? Who spent the most time with remember who played Fruit Ninja the most? Remember we were playing Fruit Ninja with Nadina's guards? No? Okay.
I think it was Silsilla. No,
I think that was Silsilla.
Right, so there's this
I
odd...
did call him Fruit.
There's this odd thing, Silsilla. Like, I can't remember which one of them. I'll flip back to the front of the book. But one of the Fruit Ninjas, Nadina's bodyguard.
It's Darla. On the back of my sheet, it's Darla equals Fruit Ninja.
Oh, okay, excellent. Remember he had like combat armor, and he had like the body armor and the suits, and it had this thing that kind of like he decorated with it this like sort of thorn and dragon pattern.
Do you not remember that, but Zilla would?
I remember talking about it. So he decorated it with this thorn and dragon pattern, and sort of stood there or sat there on the school bench, the sports bench that you might turn over and walk carefully along. Sat there on that, looking down at this guy. This girl, you can see she's it's either like a henna or some sort of like tattoo style stuff. She's done down one side of her arm like this thorn pattern that looks remarkably like ninjas kind of body armor.
Point when we're not.
Mhm.
I'll ask Az about it.
Okay.
Unless I recognise it, I don't.
Like you recognize it as it's
Yeah.
like it's such a stylized way of doing the thorns that it can't have been. You know, like if you saw.
I mean, he wasn't a nice person.
No, he wasn't.
They were basically threatening.
Uh-huh.
Like.
Yeah. I think they were also planning on murdering us at one point as
They
well.
were, and her.
Which is why we sacrificed them to the space bat.
Well, that was a kind of happy accident, I thought.
Yeah. That's why we hostage exchanged them for Adia and Kirsch.
Yeah.
We then watch the camera feed of like terrible things happening.
Yeah.
It's like a scene from the APC in Alien sort of view. But yeah, Toran is kneeling, talking to this girl. No, like looks at you and is like, and then leaves. Folks are drifting off. Aziz and some of the guys at the back are sort of stood around a bit. There's a bunch of kids like running around, chasing each other.
Do you like my cunning plan for stopping Noor from being able to work out what we're going to do? She can see the future. I haven't got a clue what we're going to do. Totally winging it. Not
that's
a clue.
Why we accepted
That's what we
Dean's
do.
proposal as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Because at any point, we could flip. We could go either way.
So you're sort of there on the stage for a little bit. Pandu shakes Shanaz's hand, or maybe like bows to you, kind of.
Proper exchange of courtesies kind of thing.
Yeah, that sort of thing. And then we'll shake Silsila and Yusuf's hands. And you know,
I am expecting to be invited to his house.
Does not invite you to his house.
Do you have any idea how rude that is?
Oh, he probably does.
That's a slight.
He probably does. But he definitely like exchanges courtesies. He's a little bit like he's definitely a bit cautious around you after you've spoken. And he doesn't talk to you too much. And then he sees some of his esteemed elders like heading off to somewhere else, and he's like, "Forgive me, I need to go and speak with my my elders."
Of course.
And lifts up like his long coat and trots off in a way that you can see is like a courtesan who hasn't had to be formal for ages would. Like no courtesan would pick up the skirt.
I'm going to eyeball Yusuf at that and glance over in that direction to indicate that the group of elders that he's meeting up with might be of interest.
It's three of them who were at the bench.
I need a wee.
We're getting there. That sort of subtle messaging is starting to come through.
Back in a minute.
And so yeah, like you see Aziz wandering up and being like, "Oh, I guess you get to," you know, and he starts to be like, "Do you want to? I'll take you down to, you know, such and such's houses. You know, they're my friends and blah. Are you going to stay?" And I guess it all sort of fades out while Pete makes a Mystic Powers roll.
Yeah, I want to do it somewhere where I'm not going to sit in the middle of a room going,
"Oh, okay."
like,
Go and check on our stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is there a toilet?
Yeah, there's probably a toilet.
I need a wee.
Yeah,
I'll
as he's
walk
just
off to the toilet. Yeah.
gestures.
I'll
Not the door
randomly
that
walk
goes
off.
into the med center, the one before.
Sure. Cheers. and I will go off to the toilet.
Don't we on the bio bed?
And too late. And mind walk the leader.
Okay.
Or the judge, sorry, not the leader. That's someone else, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Did we see how far away he had to go to talk to these people?
He's
Were they
literally just on the other side of the.
Okay, right. So I'm going to look like I'm dashing to the toilet quickly,
Mhm.
and then mind walk when I get in there in the
As
cubicle.
soon as you're out of sight. Yeah.
Yeah.
As you're closing the door. One success.
One success.
All right. So
7 dice.
it's you sort of you can when you mind walk you can see and hear
Yes, it's their
through
senses.
their senses, but not
Yeah.
inside their brain.
No, not
Just
what
the
they're
words.
thinking, just what they're seeing and hearing.
Okay.
Which is why I go somewhere outside, because I assume I can't see and hear what I would normally see and hear at that point.
Sensory overload, wouldn't it?
Or you
would.
get the ghost sensation thing, which is horrible.
Yeah.
All right. So we close the door, and you sort of cast your mind in because you've met him now, that kind of stuff. He's talking with the chap who was calling people for the medical, and then I don't know whether we've met him by name, but he's Basira, the leader, and Farouk, who is Aziz's dad.
Mm-hmm.
And they're there together, and it's very sort of hushed conversation. And it takes a moment, like you're there for a moment, like wondering if your mystic powers doesn't quite work, or if you've mind walked your eyes into someone, but your ears somewhere else. Like, have you got like a crossed line? Because they are not speaking Zeni or the patois you heard or anything. It's very sort of hushed kind of foreign language.
Right.
And they talk for a few moments, and it goes backwards and forwards. As you're watching, like the judge Pandu sort of looks, you can see him, like his vision swings round and literally looks at Shanaz and Silsila and Aziz, who were talking and that kind of stuff, and swings back, and there's a bit more kind of conversation. The doctor guy sort of gestures and points and kind of thing, and like, but they're all doing it like quite urgently.
Gesture, like just
like
gesture,
just like,
or like
really, what you can't, that sort of, just murder this, but it's like emphatic sort of like kind of very Italian gestures sort of thing going on. The older
Starting to feel better about killing.
The older guy, Basira, the thing is like puts his hand to calm the doctor down, kind of thing, and says other things in this language. And he's sort of like and the man we know is Aziz's dad, Farouk, is again like, he's like, we should, sort of thing, and he gestures out towards that kind of stuff. But it's all in a language you don't know, and like that's the sort of frustrating thing. Like you don't get what they're speaking in. One thing.
I guess it. No, you have to guess which part of the world it's from to a degree.
Yeah, like obviously Yusuf's been around the horizon. He's escaped from slavery. He's left Algol. He's done some presumably some like merchant runs or like long haul, pay off some debt, hide for a year or so sort of things. You've jumped into nomads' brains for your clairvoyance and that kind of stuff. So you've had a lot of like language and stuff at you and over you and around you. This is not a language that doesn't even sound like, where you've got like that European kind of, and sort of hear Spanish and Italian. I can hear a bit of French in this and that kind of stuff. It doesn't even have that similar sort of thing. And aside from Pandu and the doctor, the other two don't seem as confident in it.
It's
Like-
Nazaremish.
Yeah,
Base per-
Base Parantu. Yeah, the other two, Farouk and Basira, don't seem as articulate and quick. Like they are.
Or Orcish.
Yeah, it's Orcish. It's Eldar. They don't seem as confident in it. It is a bit
Okay.
of a they're sort of conversing as shorter, kind of slower kind of thing.
Mhm.
The judge and the doctor.
Yep.
Yeah. Learning all the stuff. But yeah, they're having this conversation. It's clearly about Shanaz and you.
Mhm.
They're clearly there's it's very emphatic and like intense. And you can't tell what the conclusion is. A child runs up at some point to get more sweets off a dad, kind of thing, and he breaks into like Zeni, like the language everybody sort of speaks, and he's like, "There you go, there's some sweets, and then there's the rest of the bag. Go and share that with your siblings. Go and share that with everyone. Just tell your dad I'll be over in a minute." That kind of thing. They run off. The doctor's like, "Brush your teeth," kind of thing. Everybody's like, "That's not going to happen." And they sort of then at the end of this conversation, like the child's interrupted everything, and he's like, "We can always check in the morning, and then it will be what it is." And they're like, "Fine," like clearly upset, like not happy with this ending. And then like the courtesan, the judge, he turns around and he begins walking back, and he's like, "Right, we best get back home. You should be in bed by now. You should be doing your chores. Have you finished your science project?" That kind of growling. People hear him as he walks back to the thing. The doctor walks off towards them. So as soon as Yusuf comes out the bathroom, like the doctor's walking towards you, sort of briskly towards the medical center. Hope you washed your hands.
Asking for
Always.
a diuretic.
Check up.
Yeah. And Aziz is like, "Oh, okay, like I'll take you down in a bit, like to where they're staying. Is there anything you want to get from your bags?" No, wait, you're not allowed to get you must be allowed to get some of the stuff from your bags, that kind of thing.
Is there a bar?
He laughs. He's like, "No, but yes." Yes, there is a still.
We've been around.
Yeah. So they let you collect some sort of stuff, head back into town, and it is all sort of things on stilts raised up out the water, lent against this big ship. You can see like there are terraces up into the sides of the hills where they do all the growing, the agriculture, and that kind of stuff. Before we kind of finish and we lead you into somebody's home to spend the night, does anybody, like obviously Yusuf's done a week.
I needed to make a culture roll for
we get a chance
work
to
out
talk?
about that
Yeah.
thorny thing.
Oh,
We
you
get
want
chance
like
to
a
talk
moment to talk quietly?
there?
Yeah.
Or are we got someone
Like, I mean,
around
you
us all
can
the
you
time?
can be like, "Yeah, we'll just all right, Izzy's you're going to arrange for us to get shift face later," and you'll be like, "Oh yeah, sure," and run off, that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Like, I should do it under the radar. Just sort of leave you stood together in the middle of this hangar.
Got-
Like nobody
got-
really wants to talk to you in case they give away
Sure.
secrets. You sort of stood there.
Too late.
Children might run around, but you might steal their
Far too
science.
late.
Yeah, relatively quiet.
They've got some weird language that they talk to each other. No,
Might run through a couple of languages that I do know and see if
Um,
any of them match up. Probably all of the big ones in the horizon.
I think it's a special one, Shanaz.
Just making sure.
And also there's like a you remember the weird sort of natural carving sarcophagus-y type thing, weird stuff right back at the beginning. with Nadina. There's something like that here. There's a flooded room underground, no natural light, or no external light, and it's there's like a big stasis chamber. He was thinking about it.
There is something. It might be that there's a thing here that they don't want to risk damaging or waking up, potentially.
Yeah. Maybe they're trying to keep it locked away.
Okay.
Oh, and also, they had a load of them had advised him to take us outside and shoot us, but they didn't want to kill a celebrity. So,
well, that and the fact that I might have just convinced some of them that they could be dealing with their own side.
Even
So
I spotted that.
We've sown enough doubt that we should make it through the night.
Yeah.
But try and remain flexible, because I'm still not entirely sure where Noor stands on this, and I'd rather not be too predictable.
And if we look too friendly to everybody else, she might then decide that we're... I'll
pull a couple of bottles of
completely
Cahal out of our supplies and hand them over to the boys. Don't forget to give these to your hosts and say thank you.
I'll do something unpredictable tonight. I don't know what it is yet, but there'll be something. Right, Sil. I'll look at Sil
So you're not going to be able to pick up your sniper rifle or your camera drones and that kind of stuff.
No, I mean, I think from what you said before, I will still have my accelerator pouch.
Like, if you've got it reasonably, like they've not frisked you and that kind of stuff.
Binoculars, flare, and hyper rope was what I was going to grab. That's
7 changes for each meal and several bottles of booze.
Oh,
A couple of bottles of booze, just mainly so that we can give something to our hosts. The standard grab bag of little gift things that are convenient to hand out to people.
Ooh. Okay. Did Shanaz recognize the design, the rose and the thorn?
Did you explain it to Shanaz? Like, I saw that same sort of thorn kind of thing.
Well, 2 successes on a culture roll, if I did.
I guess so. But I guess it means that it's a definite. The other side, though.
Now you sort of like Silsilla pointing this out and mentioning Darla. This sort of thorn kind of design. It's like it's thorns, but there's no roses. Like that's there's no flower in it.
Sounds like.
Yeah, thorns without roses, Draconite. But this thorn, and there are leaves, but there are no flowers in it. You sort of stand there and kind of think about what Silsilla said. It's not got anything like modern kind of stuff. The only sort of thing, and it might have come up across because Courtesan Training and Alarm's Temple quite like the dancer. In some of the earliest sort of dancer iconography, especially on other places around the horizon, she had like thorns and roses. This is just that. It's like the roses have been either added or removed from whatever this girl Darla. And now you mention it, that sunken temple. Some of that was engraved in the run. You know, we had the long corridors with the alcoves and the kind of mosaic iconography kind of thing. Now, is this like? It's definitely a recurring thing, but it's nothing that's used now. But some of it's with the dancer.
Heraldry.
Yeah, kind of like, like snowflakes at Christmas.
But it's very, very old and they've taken the roses off, so there's a distinct chance it could be the Uhaya aspect rather than
or Uhaya came first and they've added the roses in later.
Yeah.
Would be another way to kind of look at it. But yeah, it's not modern. It's curious that this girl out here in the middle of nowhere has it spontaneously.
Hiding it.
Yeah,
Yes.
and now you mention it, why did Fruit Ninja have that on his armor? What?
Oh, maybe. I mean, he
Mm.
wasn't. They went on the side of
Nadina.
Nadina,
Yeah.
which might explain why they wanted to kill her.
Yeah. But as we kind of pack this up, we talk about this. Shinaz is sort of maybe speaking softly out loud. Aziz comes, he's like, all right, I've A, got some moonshine. B, we're going to take you down to the places we're staying. Some folks have moved around, so you'll all be in the same spot. We've got a bit of food on for you. And do you guys play... thing is, he talks about a chess game.
Yes, we do.
The box
I
of
pull
pieces.
out one of the pieces.
Yeah.
This is the thing where there was the heretical
The one we saw on Gina, yeah.
Gina.
Yeah. He's like, do you guys play this? Because we love it here.
Bring it.
Yeah. This is the only thing we do in the evenings. 'Cause why not? And he like claps his hands and is like, yes, I'm allowed to have fun with the strangers because we don't have to leave them in the jungle to die today.
Today. Yeah.
And he leads you off. So as he leads you off, that's a good place to end. And next week we can find out if we die in our sleep.
Yay.
Yusuf is not going to sleep. Thank you very much for watching Coriolis with me and playing Coriolis with me. Yay. Where are we? We're on a Tuesday on Garblag
Yes.
We are.
Games. What
Tomorrow
happens?
we have the return of Warhammer Wednesday
With old
with
Space Marine game
Death
thing.
Watch.
Death Watch.
Inquisitor's Fall.
Bum, bum, bum.
Everyone's playing giant roided out Space Marines with giant guns. It's going to be Daka madness.
Brah.
Daka Bra.
Yeah.
Nice. That's exciting. Have we played Deathwatch? Not for ages.
I don't think we've actually done it
Not
the
on
channel.
stream. No.
Alright.
We did the Chaos version
Nice.
a long time ago, Black Crusade, and we've done loads of other different 40k and
Wasn't that a My
Warhammer
Chemical
things.
Romance album?
Yeah. Awesome.
Thursday, we've got the One Ring.
Nice.
Are we getting Tome Finder back? Can we have
I
our Tome
don't-
Findy friend, maybe?
I don't think so.
Because at the minute, we're making law rolls, and everyone's like, I don't know. I don't know either.
Don't
Don't ask me. We have a dwarf for that.
Where's the dwarf? Send
Never
him a
mind.
letter. Send him a missive. And maybe it'll come back in weeks' time. Like
Yeah.
at the end of whatever it is you're up to, you'll get a letter from him that'll be like, right,
We're on our way to Dale, and we're just about to go through the Mirkwood, which I'm sure will be fine.
there are
Yeah.
no death spiders in the Mirkwood.
No, not a one. We just made friends with some Bjornings, though.
Cool.
That's the One Ring on Thursday. And then at the weekend, you can watch anything you missed on the YouTubes.
Yeah.
No, there's no. Friday's chill.
That's
Friday's
fine.
the
I
day off.
wasn't sure because we went from Thursday.
It's Friday
to the
night.
week-
Friday
We
night,
went from
everybody's
Thursday
chill.
to the weekend. I was like, is this thing miss a day?
No, we're gonna. Are we playing Dungeons and Dragons on Friday? We might be.
No,
able to-
that's the.
Oh, that's next week. Okay.
We, haven't,
We play
Oh,
Dungeons
you
and
also
Dragons
get
on
Dragon
Friday.
Race, actually.
Yeah, it's fun.
Ooh.
There you
Too.
go. Real life gaming as well as online gaming. Exciting. But yeah, so Coriolis on Tuesday, Warhammer Wednesdays, and then the One Ring on Thursday. Awesome sauce. Thank you very much. I have missed this. This has been
Yes.
fun. This has
Yes.
been fun. I'm gonna go and talk about fun on Discord now. And hopefully you can come and join us. If you've not joined the Discord, come and do it. There's like nearly 700 people in the Discord now. Looking at the stats.
Mhm.
Nearly 700 folks. And we all talk about RPGs, wish each other good mornings. There's lots of coffee talk.
Yeah.
We lament that we aren't walking very far. And then we also talk about RPGs. Come join us. Other places to find things are YouTube and Patreon. There is a wonderful Garbag Games Patreon. On it, you can find stats for the ship that we've left a Skavaran and a Humanite, a Skavaran with a sword in charge of. You can find those stats and the info on that for free. There is many things on there for free. There's many things on there that if you pay a few dollars and support us, you can get as well. Come and join that if you want. And I think that's everything. I think I'm allowed to say goodbye. And just because I really like it, I'm going to play the Musaa Kula advert. See you tomorrow, folks. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.